Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of
A Fan's Perspective.
We are back for another episode this week, guys. We've got a pretty fun one coming up for you, I think. A big versus battle. For those that don't know, versus has been a thing since the pandemic started. Two musical artists going head-to-head, hitting their best tracks, and the fans kind of decide who's the big winner. There have been some pretty good contests over the past couple of months. Most recent one was
almost.
Yeah, you're right. Year, good lord. Most recent one was Jeezy versus Gucci Mane, and good lord, I don't even know if you could call that a versus because it was more like, what's a PG way of saying this?
It was a reconciliation in a sense that was promoted.
Yeah, let's go with that.
That generated massive income.
It also it had more views. That one thing had more views than the VMA awards.
I believe it.
That's just showing you how times are changing. But speaking of which, what's
black
up?
people cared about that. So
true, very true, very true.
I have a versus question for you.
What's up?
What's your opinion? Who do you think could face Eminem in a versus?
Eminem?
Yeah. Just because I find this to be very interesting. I have two people in mind.
So here's the thing about verses. They're not really about it's not really a battle. It's more of hits.
I know.
And
I know exactly what it is.
I think, I'm thinking out loud because initially I was like, I don't know who could actually battle him. But no. First up, I would say Lil Wayne. I think Wayne has a solid enough track record. That is one of my people. Yeah, that was one of my people. I definitely think Wayne has a solid enough track record. You could honestly just do the Carter 3 versus maybe the Eminem show as a 1v1 and just see which one tops that.
Mm-hmm.
Then who else do I think? Oh man, I don't think it would work as far as them having a conversation during it, and I think he's insane now and hasn't made a good album in darn near a decade, but Kanye. I think thinking,
so funny enough, we landed kind of around the same place. I say a Lil Wayne, and I also say a Jay-Z.
Oh yeah, definitely Jay-Z. I guess I just don't see Jay-Z's lane of rap in the same area as M's, if that makes sense. But then again, I'm thinking more of late Jay-Z and not early Jay-Z, so that might be part of the reason why.
It's just when you get to that monster category, you have to find other people that are monsters, and it's Jay-Z could do. I didn't consider Kanye, but Kanye could do it too. I don't know if Kanye would win.
I don't think he would.
But I think,
I don't necessarily think he would win either. Just because the latter part of his discography isn't as solid.
Yeah, it's not as solid. But I think it would. I just because I was listening to some potential theories and versus battles, and since you brought it up, I know we're not a music podcast, but I just thought it was interesting. I was like, well, who could battle M? If you're listening and you listen to rap and you have an idea, feel free to leave it down in the comments, because I just think it would be interesting to see him battle somebody.
Yeah.
And also, again, Lil Wayne, Kanye, Jay-Z, once you get to that level, it's there's only so many people they can battle that has the discography and the amount of time in the industry that they do. So I just wanted to ask you that.
That actually Lil Wayne versus Eminem would be a different kind of versus battle.
He's in trouble right now. So
yeah, that's the problem. That's the issue. But yeah, I think that'd be fun. There's a couple of the verses I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm a big R&B fan, so I've kind of wondered who Usher would do a versus battle with, and
they wanted Usher to do Chris Brown.
I think that would be solid. The only issue I think with that though is that they're kind of two different generations of R&B, if that makes sense.
I disagree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, you're because Usher, that just speaks to Usher's catalog. Usher started in the 90s, so he has a
True.
90s catalog, but he has a 2000s catalog and a 2010s catalog as well. So it
Yeah,
really
no.
does not matter. That's just more ammo for why Usher might win, but then Chris Brown is Chris Brown.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very, very true. I've heard also that like I wouldn't be against this, but I know some people wouldn't be happy with it. I heard Usher like versus Justin Timberlake could be solid too. Um, but I think Usher versus Chris
Mm,
Brown would be better.
culturally, yes, that would be better. Now, you could say Chris Brown versus Trey Songz, and then you could say Usher versus Justin Timberlake. But I personally think Usher would watch Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake like fan, I would say it would be closer. Just because you could also throw in the
Hear
NSYNC. You could throw in the NSYNC lyrics,
hear
and I think that could.
hear me out. Hear me out. This is okay. The thing is, I would say, but yeah, I'm not saying JT doesn't have hits, but he has to take those hits up against Usher. And I think for the majority of the people that are going to show up to that battle, which is going to be a good mix, you're going to hear like I think Justin Timberlake, but then that would be a tie. I could see it like going 11 Usher, 9 JT.
Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I
Like
would
I
agree
like
with that.
Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake has huge hits, but overall, it's going to be hard for him to come up with 20. Well, all he needs is 10, but 10 that's going to be Usher
Yeah,
entirely.
yeah,
I don't know.
I can
I
agree
don't
with
know.
that. And then out of like their just discography as a whole, I don't know if Justin has a Confessions. Like Future Sex Love Sounds was an
So
amazing album,
if
but
like that's his major album. I don't know anything from Into the Woods or whatever, Man of the
yeah,
Woods, Backwoods,
Man of the Woods wasn't that great. And then
and
2020 Experience was really
2020
solid.
correct, but I think he only has like a couple of major hits from that album.
Yeah.
So you're going to be he's going to be relying on his biggest album ever, which and then you have Usher who has almost 30 years of
Yeah.
some
Of
bangers. So I
solid
think that'll be
bangers. Yeah, that could be great. But we'll get back to the versus discussion for the main topic of this podcast in a second. But first, we want to just address some news that was announced very recently that Warner Brothers is out here trying to change the movie industry entirely. Um, as people know, they are releasing Wonder Woman on both Wonder Woman 1984 on both HBO Max and in theaters due to the pandemic. Well, this pandemic doesn't look like it's going to be completely over anytime soon. So they're deciding they're deciding to release their entire 2021 catalog on HBO Max as well as in theaters. So that means Dune, In the Heights, the next Godzilla vs Kong, which apparently Lionsgate knew nothing about, and a couple of
What do you
their
mean they knew nothing
like
about?
Lionsgate didn't know Warner Brothers was going to put it on HBO Max, so they're like,
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
yeah, no, the Warner Brothers is the
Oh,
distributor, so
yeah, they're the distributor. Y'all know it's getting out finally. I mean, this, you know what? I just want to say this about Godzilla versus Kong. At this point, it is what it is. The movie was supposed to be out in March. The movie's supposed to be on Blu-ray by now, and we still have not gotten a trailer
yeah,
for this
that's
film,
very true. That's
which I find funny.
I
And you know what? They did release a new update for it today. As you guys know, I'm a big Godzilla fan. They updated the logo. There is an
oh
official
god.
like text of logo now.
Okay,
Yay!
that's something, but like you said, no trailer,
Yeah.
and that's a terrible sign.
No trade. Well, you know what? It'll probably come out on the 25th. If I'm being completely honest, if I was a
Maybe.
betting man, they're probably gonna release the trailer on Christmas.
Yeah, so other films that are going to hit include The Suicide Squad, which is the sequel to Suicide Squad, The Sopranos prequel, Matrix 4. Like there's several films that are already in production or have already been made that they had to put off till next year, that they're just like, you know what, screw it, we're just going to put it on HBO Max.
It has to come out.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm interested in is not only in how this changes the industry as far as just attending theaters, but something else I've looked into is a lot of movie contracts for actors, directors, even producers is based off of how much money, like they make more money depending on how much money the film makes. So like Robert Downey Jr. had a huge contract for Marvel, but it also had a lot of back end on it where if the movies he was in made more money, he made more money. So with that being the case, like if you do this for all of your films, and let's say that by this point next year, the pandemic is under control, there's enough people that did get vaccinated that we are looking at herd immunity or whatever you want to call it, and people want to go back to theaters, I do wonder if HBO Max is still going to, if this is going to just be something that Warner Brothers does going forward, or if they're going to pull back and go put people back in theaters. Because another thing this is going to do, I think this is going to make movie theaters more expensive because you're going to have less people attending.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something for movie theaters because it's gonna be a rough 2 years for them. Regardless of what happens, like it's just gonna be rough for movie theaters. So they're gonna need help regardless. But it will be interesting to see the results of what happens to film in the film industry because, like I was saying earlier, these movies can't just sit on the shelves. The longer that they sit, the more in debt the distributors and the people that made the movies go into, because most movies are made off of loans. So,
the reason Tenet came out in theaters when they were just praying it could get released was because it was an extremely expensive movie to make. It might have been Warner Brothers' most expensive movie. Yeah. So they're like, we gotta get this out, and we'll go from there. And obviously, I think the way you do it is a hybrid model between what Disney Plus did and what Warner Brothers is doing. Like maybe for HBO Max is like $7.99. You charge $5 extra. Like I would be willing to pay $5 extra for certain films.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Not the 30 that Disney was asking for, but you're telling me for In the Heights, which is one of my favorite musicals ever, to like, hey, pay $5 and you can watch this on streaming. Sure, I've got everything. I've got a 50-inch TV. I've got a sound bar. I can make this feel great. And
His setup sucks, folks.
My setup is not nearly as good as Shelby's, but
I'm messing with you.
But it's a solid setup.
I agree with you. You get to watch it for a limited amount of time, and I mean that's what they're gonna have to do. It's not gonna be like the times of old. You didn't freeze, did you?
No,
I
just stopped moving. Yeah, I just stopped moving.
I thought you literally. I'm like, are we still recording?
No, I'm sorry, folks.
Okay. But just hopping back, it's not going to be like the times of old where, you're going to pack out theaters opening weekend and whatnot. Like you have to now play the long game for these types of productions, and we'll just have to see where it goes. I hope Godzilla vs. Kong does well. I have a feeling it won't, but again, at home, like you said, for $5, anybody, people that originally weren't going to the theaters may just want to pick it up and okay, another Godzilla, yeah, let me check it out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing is that like there are people that don't see certain movies because I'm not paying that much. I can just wait till it get like I remember my mom would always be like, that movie's not worth paying $12 for plus per ticket. Plus, like, any snacks and all that stuff. Like, I'd rather just wait till it gets on cable. Well, streaming is the new cable. I'll go to the
dollar show.
Right, or I'll go to the dollar show. Well, streaming is now the new cable, and it just makes more sense to do it this way, in my opinion.
Yep. Or I'm trying to think of another way you could do something. You could do like a package plan. Like I know AMC has been trying to get me to do stuff, and I've just been ignoring the notifications. But it'd be like, hey, this is the Warner Brothers pack, and if you pay this, like what? If you pay like $100, you get access to all of our movies for that are all of our new releases that come out for a day or something.
Yeah,
You just got to get
there's ways that you can make it work, but the
or
old. Go ahead.
or I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Or you'd be like, hey, you pay 100 for the year if you have HBO Go. Not only do you get access to stream it like day of release, but you also get a ticket to go to the theater if you want to.
Yeah. Oh, that would work. Like that would be solid.
Because then, or you could break it down to monthly, or you could do a year. But then people might be like, okay, well, it's July, and the cases are almost extinct. I feel like going to the theaters, and I purchased this thing. Like having options like that might be the way forward.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's a really cool idea.
Also, we own the rights to that idea, Warner Brothers. If you, that's a property of a Fan Perspective podcast. If you would like to discuss any type of investment into that, please contact us via email. And we'll be happy to respond.
fansperspectivepod@gmail.com if you would like to reach out. But yeah, that's the biggest new entertainment news. Other than that, a couple of
no, I have one more thing.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, which you might if you're into comedy at all, Dave Chappelle recently released a 20-minute video called Unforgiven, where he talks about his situation with Comedy Central and the deal that he went through. I found it to be a very interesting watch. I love personally talking about just the entertainment industry and how contracts work, and just looking at that, and then the how it doesn't typically favor the artist,
the talent,
and that's pretty much what his 20-minute talk is about. So if you're looking for something interesting, that is just, if you're a fan of Dave Chappelle, I would hear what he has to say. It was on his Instagram, but now it's also on YouTube, and it is called Unforgiven.
Yeah, it basically, the big thing is you find out, like, the coolest part about that.
Well, don't spoil it for people.
Okay, fair enough. Just
it's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes, and then maybe we can talk about it in our next episode. I
would love to talk about the industry.
Yeah, we can do that.
We have no experience in
at all.
But
it's just all speculation
from the outside. Yeah, from the outside looking. Well, you can hear enough witness accounts of these things to be like it's more than speculation. But
True.
Just our opinions.
True. But other than that, nothing too. This is still a pretty big story, but it's a really complicated. I don't want to get too into it, but long story short, Johnny Depp has been ceremoniously canceled by Warner Brothers from the Fantastic Beasts series. He has been let go. He apparently did record one scene, and therefore is still going to get paid $10 million for it. But
good job. So he doesn't care.
But he's been pushed out, and he has been replaced by Mads Mikkelsen, known for Hannibal. In my opinion, honestly, he probably should have been the first person for the role anyway, just based off of what the role entails, and kind of the angle that they're going for and what this character is supposed to be. Johnny Depp's an amazing actor. The reason he was pushed out has stuff to deal with the whole Amber Heard situation, his ex-wife. We aren't going to get into that, but just based off of the way that Johnny Depp is as an actor, it was very hard for me to see him as threatening. Mads Mikkelsen is a much more threatening villain for this kind of role. So I think hopefully the next Fantastic Beasts film will kind of right the ship again, because at some point we'll talk about it, as I've said before, but I did not like that last one. First watch, it was fun, but as I kept kind of looking into it more and more, it was really, really rough. So, but yeah.
Pace is important.
Insanely important. But yeah, folks,
Shout out to The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, definitely. And but yeah, folks, that's gonna do it for our little bit of news update. Now on to the main event. Like I said, this is gonna be a bit of a versus battle, but instead of with music, it is based off of two beloved channels, the channels that all of us go through. That everyone, I'm sure, watched at some point.
Well, you know what? If you grew up through the '90s, they were very, very impactful to you. I don't know how much so now, but definitely if you were watching cartoons through the '90s, early 2000s, these had an impact on your life. And there's some newer stuff that, like I said, is from the 2010s on this list,
but that's fine.
Today, yeah. No, there's some bangers. There's some there's some bangers. I love my people. Anyways, but so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing a versus battle between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. This was a list that was provided to us by a friend of yours. Am I correct?
Yes, his name is Devante Kennedy. Devante actually created our logo. I went to high school with him. He is a really good. He's a really, really talented graphic designer. Hit him up. You can find him on Instagram, I believe, at Life of Devante, and then he's Positivity, but there's like a hyphen between the positive and the D on Twitter. We'll
really good. Yeah, in the description.
Yeah, well, the description will have all the information for him, but he's really, really good. And yeah, he posted this to his Twitter around last week, and it went pretty viral, at least in Detroit. And I'm sure there are other people that just saw it like nationwide. People really went hard for this versus battle. So we're like,
be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah. We're like, we need to get on this because I think it's a pretty solid list. It's a pretty solid list. So
now, for those who don't know, because I did get a lot of questions about this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rating the overall show's quality versus the other show.
Yeah.
This isn't a character versus battle. It's not a death battle. Just overall, we're going to vote for which shows we think were the best between the lineup.
Yeah. And then also a photo of this is going to be provided in the description, folks. You will be able to see it. So if you would like to,
but we're gonna talk it out. You'll know. Some of these shows you'll recognize. Some of these shows you won't. But just play along, have fun with it, because this is our first time discussing these matchups together too. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So this might be a long one, folks, but just we appreciate you for listening. So let's get started. First up, we have a battle of.
Sorry, I'm back. Okay. Sorry. Real quick, I did do a slight poll on this.
Okay.
Just to get a few more opinions to help sway the if it's a tie or something or
okay. Yeah, so, that's fair.
Let me pull that up really fast.
That is fair. Oh, by the way, just want to give another shout out to a friend of the pod, our friend Teddy. He was on our Legend of Korra podcast. He is part of a podcast known as Amplified Ignorance. They have also done a Cartoon Wars series where they kind of do something similar to this, but instead of doing like a versus battle where you just pick one versus one, the channels battle each other. It's still picking the top. It's like an overall which is the best cartoon ever kind of bracket. So kind of like a March Madness bracket. So check them out. Amplified Ignorance podcast.
Okay. So starting off, the first matchup is Dexter's Lab on the representing the Cartoon Network side versus Jimmy Neutron, Nickelodeon side.
So this one's easy for me, even though I really did like the Jimmy Neutron movie when I was younger. I thought the series was funny. It doesn't hold a candle to Dexter's Lab. Okay. I dare someone to tell me that Jimmy Neutron is better than Dexter's Lab. I need you to prove this to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dexter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Dexter's Lab on this one.
Yeah, like the comedy of Dexter's Lab is too good. The animation is great. Like they both had movies. One was in theaters for Jimmy Neutron, and one was a cartoon movie. But the cartoon movie for Dexter's Laboratory was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. You saw every version of Dexter in from him.
I thought that was an episode.
No, that was a full movie.
That was a movie.
That was a full movie.
When they showed him old
you showed him as
a
exactly. He's living in an apocalypse, but he's like muscular and everything, and they were trying to figure out how Mandark ruined everything. It turned out to be Dee Dee. Like that. Like Dexter's Laboratory is amazing.
Right.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, just to follow up with that, this one, looking at the poll here, we got 1 vote for Dexter's Lab, 2 votes for Dexter's Lab. So Dexter's Lab takes this one.
Yeah, so that's an easy one. All right, next one is much more challenging. I know what I'm voting for, but I know that that there's been a little bit of back and forth on the internet about this one. We got Teen Titans for Cartoon Network versus Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I any other time against almost anything else Nickelodeon put up, I would say Teen Titans would win, but I can't put it over Avatar. We've stood by on this podcast and openly said Avatar is the best cartoon ever made in America, and I'm not going to ever disagree with this. So
you never know, something better may come along.
True.
My argument for this, I also voted for Avatar. Mainly because we've never discussed the DCAU and the umbrella of shows and movies that fall under that. And Teen Titan has some bangers. It
is such a great show. Like I said, against almost anything else, Teen Titans wins. It just it lost out. So that's one.
Never watched Teen Titans. It is adult enough because it's based off a DC property to where you could still watch it today and enjoy it, I feel.
So yeah, right now it's 1-1, 1 Nickelodeon, 1 for Cartoon Network.
And this is the thing about versus battles, right? You gotta choose your lineup properly because you just never know. And I do feel like that's a good matchup. Like if Cartoon Network had to give something a shot, okay, I understand. If Cartoon Network had to give something a shot at beating Avatar, like Teen Titans is the best bet. I would no hands down.
I would say the next one actually would have been a little bit more of competition for Avatar, because in my opinion, it's Cartoon Network's best show. Like it's the best show they've ever made. And it's also made by the same guy that made Dexter's Lab, so that stands up to the animation. That says something right there. But up next is Samurai Jack versus Danny Phantom. I gotta go with my boy Jack.
I'm going with Samurai Jack too. Just the stylization, the art, the themes. Now, I was gonna say in the theme song, in defense of Danny Phantom wasn't bad either.
Oh no, Danny Phantom's really, really good. Like I genuinely enjoyed Danny Phantom. Like the cartoon, the Nickelodeon lineup on Fridays, if I remember correctly, ended up being like Avatar: The Last Airbender, followed by Danny Phantom at 8 and 8:30, and that was a pretty.
They both had good theme songs too.
It was a pretty solid lineup for Nickelodeon.
Danny Phantom. I was like, oh. Yo, wait a minute. He was just 13 when his parents turned on a very strange machine. I don't know all the words.
It was designed to see a world unseen.
You know who rapped that?
It's someone obvious. Like, it's actually someone who's really good at rapping. Uh,
It was DJ
DJ Direct
DJ Direct. Yeah. DJ Direct. You
from
gotta catch him all because he's Danny Phantom. I said, wait a minute, and then you got Dan Phantom. I think if Danny Phantom would have had a stronger season 3, then they probably would have been up there.
yeah.
Season 3 is pretty weak.
Yeah, season 3, which I believe was
It's the general consensus.
Yeah, it was also, if I believe, the final season.
Yeah, it was.
And like the highlight of season 3 of Danny Phantom is is its movie, when you see like the future Danny come back to kind of start off what, like, long story short, like he ended up being the strongest ghost ever created, but that's because like tragedy led to it. And
No, that wasn't the last. That wasn't the end of Danny Phantom.
I thought that was like the
the
series. Right. I'm saying the movie was in season 3 though.
There's a season after that. No, there's a season after that.
Really?
Yeah, where they go to. Yeah.
Oh, that tells.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, fine. That tells you, for me, how Samurai Jack is more important, because Samurai Jack has so many great episodes, and that's just based off of its first couple seasons. Because for years,
it has a stronger impact too.
Yeah, for years, Samurai Jack fans of Samurai Jack were like, "Well, he's never gonna make it back to the past." They canceled the show before we could ever actually let them finish. And we got that last season, man, and that last season was fire.
I still haven't watched it yet. I'm currently kind of in the process of rewatching. I started at the beginning for Samurai Jack. Okay. So I'm gonna go HBO Max, man. Shout outs to it. Yeah. I'm gonna go back and finish it.
Yeah, man. The last season of Samurai Jack, I won't spoil anything for you. Just know the fighting is awesome. The only downside about it is Aku is it's not the same voice actor. Mako, the voice actor was Mako, the same guy that was voice actor of Iroh, in the original Iroh, and he passed away, and it just sucked because he was so great as Aku. He was so great as Aku.
He had a great voice.
He was amazing.
He had a great voice.
So you definitely miss out on that. But I love Samurai Jack so much. Just the first
Samurai Jack is a classic. It's like a classic
from the Irishman episodes to when he
not the Scot. It's the Scotsman.
The Scotsman. You're right. Sorry, the Scotsman. You're right. The Scotsman episodes
the episode where they don't talk. Like, it's completely silent most of the episode.
Yep. Yeah. Then there's the Shaolin Monk episode. Like, there's so many. So yeah, Samurai Jack. Even the first episode. Yeah, the first episode is really good. I actually, I said, if you did an actual versus battle, I think if Nickelodeon throws out Avatar, Samurai Jack has to, like in my opinion, Cartoon Network should throw out Samurai Jack just because it'd be more even. But then again, that might not give you the win that Samurai Jack gives you.
I think, yeah. Samurai Jack is an immediate win against everything else, so I wouldn't put that up there. I like this composition because Teen Titans, while it can get you a lot of wins, it just depends. Because Teen Titans had that similar situation to Samurai Jack, to where it's like, okay, it just kind of ends, and then they got a movie afterwards, which is technically the ending, but it's just like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then it becomes Teen Titans Go, but that's a whole other thing. Go. That's a whole other thing.
Which I have to admit is hilarious.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go is one of the funniest shows on TV right now.
It just isn't serious, but it's so, they got a movie, but it's just funny. Okay,
where they face off against the Teen Titans. We'll talk about that another time. Up next,
no, they had an actual movie in theaters.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because then the after credit scene was the original Teen Titans showing back up. So yeah, one day we'll have to talk about Teen Titans Go at some point because it really is such a great show.
We'll have to talk about the DCAU at some point. But next up, Cow and Chicken versus Cat Dog. What you got?
For me, and it might just be because I was too young to get cow and chicken when it was a thing, I have to go with Cat Dog. Cat Dog created one of my favorite memes of all time.
Which is what?
When the little blue mouse that live with them. It's like when you enter a situation, then you immediately leave a situation. Like you're like I'm interested, and then you turn out I'm out. So that meme is great. But other than that, I think Cat Dog was the funnier show for me as a kid. Like Cow and Chicken just was too ridiculous for me when I was little. I think the comedy just went over my head.
Allowed to watch Cow and Chicken.
I might not have been now that I think about it. So yeah, I have to go with Cat Dog.
I'm going Cow and Chicken.
Okay, so this
just because
this is our first disagreement.
Just because Cow and Chicken was such an absurd show, I watched that show religiously. It was so crazy, and I think it was made by the guy that I could be wrong. I'm not sure who made it. I think the dude that made Rocko's Modern Life was involved with it. Not 100% sure.
It might have been Ren and Stimpy,
but. Yeah. I think it was Red and Stimpy. You're right. The show is so adult. The fact that it was on air gives it a win. I remember Cat Dog, and the main thing I remember about Cat Dog was the cat's voice. I'm not sure who the voice actor was, but outside of that, it doesn't really stand out. Other than it had a good theme song. Nickelodeon's got some banging theme songs. Little Cat Dog. Cat dog.
Lone of the world with a little cat dog.
But outside of that, Cow and Chicken, not only was it hilarious, it was so inappropriate. Like it had the biker women. Have you ever heard about that?
Oh yeah, if I remember, I've heard about that one. I've definitely heard about that one.
It's a joke where they have a bunch of women that ride motorcycles come into the house and start munching on carpet. It is hilarious looking back on it, and you had no idea what it was referencing as a kid, but it was inappropriate. What? Yeah. If I find that, I'll send it to you.
Okay,
it is such an inappropriate. And they used to eat pork butt.
I still have to give it to Cat. I have to give it to Cat Dog just because I didn't watch Cow and Chicken, so I can't. I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think you were allowed to watch Cow and Chicken, but
I know I've been able
moving on. I'm gonna go to the
tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker. So, Michael Cherzen, shout outs to the Cherzen one. He voted for Cat Dog.
Okay.
Which I expected that. And then next up, we got Mr. Dejak here. He also voted Cat Dog.
Okay.
So Cat Dog wins this one. But
okay.
I could not. I had to vote for Cow and Chicken. Cow and Chicken is an amazingly absurd show. Like if you want to see, because you'll watch it and you'll be like, how did this get on air? That's literally gonna be like, how?
So the next battle is another really good battle.
I disagree.
And I'm interested in why you disagree because I wonder what your pick is. I think it's a good battle because both of these shows are pretty iconic for a lot of fans. But in my opinion, one is way more iconic than the other. We got Ed, Edd, and Eddy versus Rugrats. And for me, a baby's got to do what a baby's got to do. I got to go with Rugrats, man.
I'm going Ed, Edd, and Eddy.
I knew you were.
Yeah.
And, I watched both shows. I don't think I actually ever thought Ed, Edd, and Eddy was funny. And maybe if I go back and watch it now, I will.
You're wild.
Dude, I really remember I tried getting into it and I just never did. And maybe because I thought it was too weird looking. I don't know. I just never really laughed.
This is my opinion, and we needed more people to chime in on this one. But Ed, Edd, and Eddy is a classic.
So's Rugrats.
No, see, you remember Rugrats from your child. Hear me out. What happens in the last season of Rugrats?
If I remember correctly,
a lot of people know that Rugrats is iconic, but what for? It was a good show that you grew up with because it was the best show on Nickelodeon at the time. They didn't have anything else that was good. I'm not saying Rugrats isn't iconic, but I don't think as a show. I think if you go back and rewatch Rugrats versus going back and rewatching Ed, Ed and Eddie, you're gonna have two completely different experiences because Rugrats is literally about babies doing, going on adventures and whatnot. But I don't think it has held up in the test of time as well as
see,
Ed and Eddie
here's
have.
the thing though. I can't really think of like iconic Ed and Eddie episodes. I can think of iconic Rugrats episodes.
The son of a shepherd? You dare challenge the son of a
Okay,
shepherd?
that's a great meme. That's a great joke, and it's something that Rolf did all the time. But like it's
exactly, it happened all the time. Or the fact that they were trying to, my man Ed. Oh my god!
Yeah, Ed was basically superpowered. I know, I understand all of that, but like, there's
the
like
walls have ears, Eddie. I love. Again,
like,
it could
like,
just be me, but I'm giving because Ed and Eddie was a similar situation where it ended, and people were like, "Hey, this isn't done yet."
Could you give us an ending?
Back.
Yeah, they did give us an ending because I do remember we finally saw Eddie's brother.
They were trying to get jawbreakers all the time.
That's all they were trying to do.
Yeah, my man was trying to scam people, and then there's the whole theory about how the cul-de-sac is purgatory.
Yep, and like
what you got for Rugrats?
So there's one, the insanely dark.
All grown.
Well, that's actually on this. That's actually on this category. Hold on, let me talk, bro.
I know.
We got
no. Because I was in the '90s. I'm a voice.
I understand this.
The legacy. And this just goes back to shows ending at the right time. The legacy of Rugrats, while a lot of people remember it favorably. Anyway, there we go. I got it the last time. You gotta attach all grown ups to it as well.
Well, no, you don't, because that's technically a separate series. Show, it's a separate series.
It came from Rugrats.
I understand it came from Rugrats, but here's the thing. One, you have two amazing movies connected to Rugrats. Rugrats the movie and Rugrats in Paris was great. Rugrats in Paris is an amazing movie. When Chucky, when
sister
when Kimmy
in that season that nobody remembers.
I remember the Kimmy season.
Tell us about it.
Kimmy,
what were the goals in that season?
They went on adventures now that Chucky had a sibling.
Was Dill still around?
Dill was still around, but it doesn't. But still, like the movies are great. And then as far as iconic episodes, you got the episode when you find out that like Chucky's mom didn't make it, and Chucky's dad like kind of walks him through how to handle grief. That's a really good episode. There's the nightmare-inducing episode when Angelica is worried about getting a sibling, and like she's almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? She has a horrible nightmare that this baby is like going to eat her because he's crying all the time, and like he's taking all of the attention away from their parents. Then you've got the episode when Tommy stays over at Chucky's for the first time, and like it's the first time you see their friendship falter because Tommy's being really annoying, and Chucky just wants to sleep, and Tommy ends up asking a bunch of questions and keeping Chucky up at night. Like there's a bunch of things that I remember about Rugrats specifically. Not All Grown Up. I agree, All Grown Up is not good, but Rugrats, in my opinion, is the better show.
Riveting. I love these points and going back and rewatching.
Oh my god! You're just hating. That's all I'll say.
I'm just giving you my perspective. In my opinion, Ed and Eddie ended up. I think Rugrat reached a wider audience because that's what was on Nickelodeon at the time. I won't disagree with that, but I think Ed and Eddie ends up being the better show. Like if you look at all the seasons, all the episodes, and compare them, I think Ed and Eddie will end up being the better show. But because we are tied again, let's go to our poll here. So we got to vote for. It's another vote for Rugrats, and then we're tied.
Okay. Do we need to call? Do we need to call in the? Do we need to call in either? Call in either of our friends. I don't think there's anything wrong with it being a tie. Okay, that's fair. I actually have one of these tied because I couldn't make a pick. But we'll get to that.
I can't honestly put Ed and Eddie over
That's
Rugrats,
fair.
especially at the time of my life in which I watched Ed and Eddie.
That's also
But
fair. The one thing
well,
that we can say, folks, is that why it seems kind of weird that we like Shelby and I are like Shelby's 2 years older than me. So when we were growing up, we did have two slightly different situations when we watched these shows.
we had different childhoods,
Yeah.
to a degree. So
But okay, what's up next, Shell? What's the next one?
next one is we left off on Ed and Eddie. Courage the Cowardly Dog versus Invader Zim.
Okay, so here's the thing about this versus. Again, it's a
I know
matter
my
of.
pick.
Hold on, what did I pick when I first made this decision? Because I want to go with that. I don't want to because I don't want to be influenced. Like I made these picks already.
Go with your decision right now if you want. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Because I didn't laugh as much at Courage as I did on Invader Zim. I'm gonna go with Invader Zim.
Folks, join us next week. We'll be having a new host.
And that's the thing. I really like, don't get me wrong, I loved Courage. I like Courage now as an adult.
So, this is another good match. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say this is another good match because they were both creepy.
Yep.
They're both weird shows, right?
Yep.
But I genuinely remember more comedic moments coming from Courage. Courage is hilarious. I don't remember Invader Zim being that funny. It was stupid.
Dog,
it was definitely stupid.
You gotta go back and watch the first season. The first season of Invader Zim is one of the funniest cartoons ever made. I swear.
It is, but it's not. It's not. To me, it's not like a joke type of funny. It's like, hey, these situations are stupid, and Zim is stupid, and Zim's an alien, so Zim's doing all this crazy stuff. I'm going with Courage.
All I have to say is Gur is
the slab.
Return the Slab is like is creepy.
Like Courage has some distinctly creepy stuff, but because of the interactions between him and Eustace, it was actual comedy there. Even Muriel sometimes, always trying to save Muriel.
Right.
I don't. Is that the intro for Invader Zim?
I think so.
I think that is.
Yeah.
They both had cool. I mean, Invader Zim has the better intro, but I'm going with Courage on
okay,
this.
I'm going with Invader Zim just because Gur was one of my favorite characters when I was a kid, and I remember it was one of the Gur made me cry laughing. It was one of the first characters to ever make me laugh that hard.
But was it because he was funny or because he was stupid?
It might have been because he was stupid, but I still got to give them credit for writing such a stupid character.
Yeah, they put my man Gert, instead of giving him a brain, they put nuts and bolts.
Yes,
in
yes,
that was his brain.
Yes,
that was all he had.
And then when Zim finally fixed him and made him an actual murder bot, like his whole personality changed.
Mm-hmm.
But
Gert was a dog. He was a dog.
And that's what I mean. Stuff like that, like the stupidity of Invader Zim is so great that I can't not. I have to give it that. I'm sorry. I just have to give it to.
Yeah, I still think Courage beats. I understand. I remember it because Zim was another one where they brought it back for the final,
Yep.
and finished it. But I'm going with Courage on this one.
Okay.
So to our tiebreaker. The chosen one chose Courage the Cowardly Dog as well.
Okay.
And Mr. Dejak also chose Courage the Cowardly Dog.
So I'm gonna go with Courage wins this one.
Courage wins this one.
Okay, so this next one again is it is some battles of straight heat, man. I have to say, but and maybe I just watched more Nickelodeon when I was a kid, but
you watched a lot of Nickelodeon.
But at the same time, when this series was at its peak, it was one of the best, in my opinion. So we've got Powerpuff Girls versus Fairly Odd Parents.
Mm-hmm.
And, like...
Who you got?
I gotta go with Timmy Turner. Timmy Turner.
Timmy Turner. He was wishing for.
Timmy,
Okay.
like Fairly Odd Parents, is one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. I think it was also
Yeah,
part of that Nickelodeon block, and I just couldn't
it
like.
was. Yeah.
So
So the issue I have with Fairly Odd Parents, is
it fell
that
off.
Fairly Odd Parents does fall off.
Yeah, it
Around
falls
the
off.
time when they bring in the dog and the baby and stuff, it falls off.
After the
Um,
baby, I stopped watching. I'll fully admit I stopped
yeah,
watching. It's like I think Butch Hartman even left the
and then
show at
and
around
then
that point.
he gets he has to split Cosmo and Wanda at some point.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna
it's an
go with
example.
Powerpuff Girls.
That's fine. I can't fault you for going with Powerpuff Girls because Powerpuff Girls is
And
also great.
this is why I'm gonna go with Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls. I'll back this up. The original run for Powerpuff Girls is solid. And then when they got the movie that was in theaters, the Rise of
Movie was
Mojo
great.
Jojo, or whatever it's called.
And
The
low-key
movie was great.
Mojo Jojo was actually a threat in that film. Like he was legitimate. Like they made
Yeah,
him less of a joke character and more of a threat.
yeah. Going with now I know the reboot had some issues. I never watched it, but the original run of Powerpuff Girls, I was with it. I was with it.
That's
So
fair.
I'm voting Powerpuff Girls. Now, let's go to the again tiebreaker. Um, the chosen one writes in Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
Next up, Mr. Jack votes Odd Parents.
So we are tied again, folks.
Yeah, tie another tie.
That's a tie. That's
Which
a
is
fair
well
tie. In my
deserved.
opinion, that's a fair tie. That's a fair tie. Because while Powerpuff Girls had an in theaters movie that was really good, but I do stand by the Fairly Odd Parents' first two TV movies. The one when Mr. Crocker finally gets Fairly Odd Parents, and also when Fairly Odd Parents, and also Channel Chasers when Vicky's the villain and like she has access to magic, and they're like going through all the different TV shows, and they had that little Dragon Ball Z parody. Like that was awesome. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that.
I can't take it away from you.
So
this one's a tie, folks.
Yeah, that one's a tie. Up next.
All right, next up, yeah. You want to do it? Or
Yeah,
do
I'll do this one. Up next, we've got Space Ghost versus Rocko's Modern Life, and for this one,
I skipped right over that. Good thing I let you do it.
So for this one, I gotta go with Space Ghost. Partially just because of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I just think Space Ghost Coast.
That's what they're referencing.
Okay, yeah, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, in my opinion, was funnier than Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah. Okay, hear me out.
Okay.
I'm going Rocko.
Okay.
I'm going Rocko. And I think you were too young to watch this show.
That's probably it.
Even fully understand it.
I don't even think. If I remember correctly, Rocko's Modern Life was one of the earlier Nickelodeon shows, and it might have gotten canceled before I was really watching TV like that.
Probably did. Rocko's Modern Life again. This is back when Nickelodeon was. This was before Nickelodeon had to clean up. This was back when Nickelodeon was wild, because this is the show that had the phone sex operator. This is a show that had, like Rocko's Modern Life. His boss's wife was attracted to him. She was a frog. He was a kangaroo. It was such a wild show. And kids watched it, and I have to give it over Space Ghost. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Space Ghost. Space Ghost was just weirdly funny because it was a parody of a superhero that had a talk show.
Yeah,
Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
The way that they did the whole thing, they would reuse old clips from the original Hanna-Barbera cartoon. They would superimpose those clips over an actual interview that did happen with real people, and then they would continue to do jokes for it. Like that, just off the production alone, is super impressive.
It was wild. Yeah,
it's great. Super impressive.
It was great, and it was on Adult Swim.
So yeah, it was one of the first Adult Swim shows.
I really, because I loved watching Space Ghost. I really want to. This one is close for me. But I'm gonna go.
Come on,
Do I
man.
switch? Do I switch
You know you
sides?
want to go with Space Ghost here, man. Because like between
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Moltar,
Space
yeah.
Ghost.
Because think
I'm gonna
about
go
you also have
Space Ghost.
Moltar and
Moltar. Yeah, my man was in the back
yeah,
room on
exactly. He
Twitter.
was the producer. He was the one making all the chaos.
Yeah, I'm going, and my man, what was his name? Borat?
Yeah,
Zorak. It was
Zorax.
Zorak, the bug.
He was the music guy, and he was just always just dumping on Space Ghost.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Space Ghost.
Oh God.
So yeah, let me see if we have any. Nope, everybody was Space Ghost on
Okay.
this one.
Okay. Okay. We're
Yeah,
all pretty even on that
I
one.
had to switch sides.
Okay. All right. What's up
I was
next?
going Rocco just because of oh baby, oh baby, oh. But
It's that's one solid joke versus consistent humor. Like I like.
no, Rocco's Modern Life is a solid show. It's just
I
I
agree.
have to go to Space Ghost because I would stay up to midnight to watch Space Ghost.
Yeah. All right. Up next. What's the next one, Shell?
The next one is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends versus Chalk Zone.
Okay, this one. I'm gonna switch my pick because originally I had Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but now
Chalk
I
Zone.
have to go with Chalk Zone.
So,
Now that I think about it,
Rudy's
Chalk
got
Zone.
the chalk. Rudy's got
The chalk zone.
Yeah,
Rudy's got the chalk.
And that show has a wild. Have you ever looked at the history of Chalk Zone?
No, I haven't.
It was only 3 seasons, but it kind of had a very rough ride at Nickelodeon. Like it would have did much better at Cartoon Network, but yeah, I'm going Chalk Zone.
Yeah, and not to mention, the thing I forgot that they did, which is why I had to move it. They had like a music video at the end of almost every episode. Like I forgot about that, and I'm like, oh no, this was so much of a better show than Foster's Home. Foster's was more like Foster's had great jokes. Like I loved Eduardo, I love Cheese, I love
Cheese.
Wilt. But then again, I also hated Blue as a character. I actually did not like the secondary protagonist of the show. So
I had a better time. Or the feeling that I reminisce. I had a better time with Chalk Zone.
Yeah.
I really at that point in my life was kind of fading in and out of Cartoon Network, and Foster's was something I didn't have to watch.
yeah. Okay, so up next we've got a modern Cartoon Network classic versus a Nickelodeon juggernaut. We've got Adventure Time versus Hey Arnold. And nerd culture is going to hate me for this, but I have to go with Hey Arnold. Even though Adventure Time...
Too.
Okay.
Hey Arnold.
Arnold.
Yeah, I don't know. They was touching my jazz soul. I didn't even know I had jazz. No, I'm going with Hey Arnold just because, Stoop Kid couldn't leave his stoop. So...
Man, there's so many classic episodes of Hey Arnold when you think about it. Like the one that that's always in my memory for how awful kids can be is when Harold it's pretty much a fat shaming episode about Harold where like Harold is finally about to go lose weight, but he's so self-conscious about it. Like he goes on this like weight loss cruise and he ends up overeating and not doing what he was supposed to do and comes back even bigger. And I just remember that reveal and all of the kids were just like, oh my God, what happened? How you look so different. And like, I don't know why that one like sits with me so much, but it's just like, oh,
I do.
Well, yeah, fair.
I know.
But that episode, then get it out.
Oh,
Get it out.
Gosh. I didn't even remember that, but that is funny. My man went on a cruise and came back bigger.
The cruise was designed to help him lose weight. But man.
The monkey.
Oh God, no, we're cutting that from this episode. But then other episodes from like Hey Arnold that are still really, really important. Like when you find out what may have happened to his parents. And now that I think about it, didn't they release a Hey Arnold movie on Amazon to like finish the series? I'm
I
almost
believe they
positive
did.
they did, and I haven't watched it, and I need to go back and watch that. That's on me. Not to say not to say that Adventure Time isn't a great show. Adventure Time is fantastic, but I
Oh,
can't put.
Adventure Time is huge. Adventure Time is huge. I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, it might have been because of the same thing that happened. Is like the only cartoons I was really into at that point was anime because I don't really count that as the same thing. But like for
That's
example,
not
Walt, our friend Walt, he loves Adventure Time. It's like one of his favorite
Adventure.
shows, and
A lot of people love Adventure Time. Like it's. Don't get me wrong. I get how it is as awesome of a show that it is. I'm just not gonna put it over Hey Arnold for me.
yeah. So up
And then
next,
according to hold
oh
on. According to our polls, they didn't either.
okay,
So
yeah. So Hey
Hey
Arnold still wins.
Arnold's.
Now up next, I did watch this show a bit more. We've got regular show versus Angry Beavers. Now,
I keep skipping. I might be dyslexic. Oh no.
now Angry Beavers, in my opinion, was one of the funnier earlier Nickelodeon shows, but I have to give it to regular show. Regular show might have been one of the Cartoon Network's. It was one of the few shows I still watched on Cartoon Network when I was like going into college. It like was the next step after Chowder as far as like ridiculous shows. And
Hmm.
I genuinely laughed out loud at several regular show episodes. The drawings aren't exactly
Yeah.
the prettiest, but I have to give it that over Angry Beavers.
Yeah, I remember enjoying Angry Beavers, but from what I have seen, because regular show is with the bird and the
Yeah,
raccoon, right?
yeah, yep,
The blue jay and the raccoon. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna go with regular show on this one.
So that was easy enough. What you want to check the
Let
poll
me
or we?
see. We have no vote, and then we have an Angry Beavers vote.
Okay,
But
regular show still wins out. Next
yep,
one's much easier than the past couple ones we've had to do. It's the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy versus All Grown Up, and that is easily the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Destroy us
easily.
all! Destroy us all! Clowns will destroy us all! Like
So just oh, go ahead.
Billy
You
is one of the
related to
best.
Billy?
Yeah, well, I didn't relate to Billy. I just thought it was one of the funniest characters in TV. Screw you, sir. But
I relate. Yeah, I enjoy Mandy and Grim. Funny enough, funny story about the misadventures of Billy and Mandy is that it won a contest to become a show.
Yep, I remember that.
Yep. There was a Cartoon Network contest to where like originally it was like a 10-minute skit or
Yep.
something. And people enjoyed it so much that it got adapted into a full show. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Billy. Just the fact that this little girl tricks Death into like signing
A contract, signing his life
a
away,
contract.
and
Yeah,
then
signing his life
and
away.
then
It's hilarious.
she steadily becomes like one of the most brilliant characters in cartoons. Technically, like she's like conniving and evil, and like that. It's great, and then you compliment that with Billy being an absolute moron. It's a great show.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
up next, we've got. Also, All Grown Up isn't good, so there's no reason to really worry about that.
How did it have 5 seasons?
They were running out of content. But up next, we've got Steven Universe versus the Wild Thornberries. I gotta give it to Steven Universe. I genuinely, especially with how they handled Steven Universe Future, I really have to give it to them because they addressed some of the biggest glaring issues with Steven Universe in Steven Universe Future. I know you might feel differently, but Steven Universe is definitely my pick.
All I'm gonna say. I know I'm gonna catch some heat for this. I'm going with Wild Thornberries. Between the show of Wild Thornberries, see here's the only thing I would say for that. And they both of these series had movies, right?
Yep.
Wild Thornberries, the original package was better than what I didn't finish Steven Universe, but I know what happens at the end. Wild Thornberries to me was a better overall complete package than the ride of Steven Universe collectively. Collectively, that's all I'm gonna say. It came out at a consistent time. It was a popular show. The animation got better. Not saying these things didn't happen in Steven Universe, but I just remember having what was her name? Eliza.
Yeah.
I kind of related to
Well, yeah,
Eliza.
you also love animals. You're an animal
Yeah,
fanboy. Like you gotta go see some animals in every trip. You want to go to the zoo. You gotta head to SeaWorld. Like I
first
get it.
off,
I get it.
first off, those were world class. That was SeaWorld San Diego, sir. That's a world class. That ain't just like any SeaWorld. Like that's the SeaWorld you supposed. That's where Blackfish was. You're supposed to go to that SeaWorld if you're in the area. That's first off. Second off, you know, we destroying the planet. That's neither here nor there, though. That's not what I'm trying to discuss. I just related to like Eliza having an older sibling and trying to like find her place in the family. I thought it was a really well told story. You had Donnie,
Yep.
who was just a little animal boy that would just make sounds. He was hilarious. So
No,
while I
don't.
did enjoy,
Listen, don't get me
I was
wrong.
just gonna say,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say while I did enjoy Steven Universe, I just think overall, the Wild Thornberries is a more complete, consistent package.
So I will say my watch of Steven Universe was a little bit different. I did thankfully have people to guide me through the insanity that is the first 52 episode season because there's so much filler. And if you just go off the plot points of Steven Universe, the plot series overall, in my opinion, is better than Wild Thornberries. And I genuinely like the characters a little bit more in Steven Universe, but I do understand there are some serious drawbacks. It's not a perfect show, but personally, I just enjoy it more than I did Wild Thornberries.
And then they had the Darwin, the talking monkey. I'm thinking about it now. I would like to watch Wild Thornberries again. But going to our tiebreaker. So the chosen one voted Wild Thornberries.
I knew that was
well.
going to happen. You guys haven't met Michael yet. You will eventually, but yeah, that's
and then
surprising.
it's a tie. We got another vote for the Steven Universe.
All right, so it's a tie.
Steven Universe is kind of more anime-esque in a sense.
Yeah.
But and I understand why it has the draw that it has, like in terms of story. But I think it's in terms of a classic like '90s cartoon, '90s early 2000s cartoon. Just the feeling that people had when they watched
that's
cartoons. Fair. The Wild Thornberries invokes more of that. So we got a tie.
All right, so this next one at first was really challenging for me, but then I thought about it in a little bit more detail and it wasn't. So we've got Ben 10 versus The Legend of Korra. Now, if Ben 10 had 3 seasons, stopped with its movie, and called it a day, never did a reboot, never did Ultimate Alien, never tried to do a live action movie, never tried to do like the sequel series where you found out his sister wasn't just magic, she was also just an alien too. Sorry, not his sister, his cousin was also an alien, tried to do magic too. Like all of that would have been like
I can do you one better.
Go ahead.
I can do you one better. I don't know where you're going with this. Just do the original Ben 10.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you just do the original Ben 10 and you just leave it at that, then I would say the original Ben 10 beats out Korra. Just because of the shakiness of Korra's second season and the shakiness a little bit of its first season. But because Ben 10 has a reboot that looks way uglier than the current version, than its original version, because it had all the sequel series that were not as consistent. I tried to watch the second show, I didn't get into it.
No. You gotta hold around. You gotta stay within the same rules. If All Grown Up is considered a different show and not connected to Rugrats, this just says Ben 10. It doesn't say Ben 10 Ultimate Alien.
But what about the reboot though? Because the reboot's currently ongoing. And it's called Ben 10.
Is it? Okay. But I don't think it's finished. So we can't compare. One, we haven't seen that. And two, we can't compare that to something that is completely finished. In my opinion, I was going by even if okay, so I'm just gonna put my vote out there right now. I'm going to say Ben 10. Even if we're just talking about the original series, the original series was so good that it stemmed off what led to be Cartoon Network's biggest franchise.
Yeah, their biggest
ever.
original franchise, because the amount of
Yeah.
shows that came from Ben 10 is legitimately insane. It's the first show Cartoon Network was like, you know what? Let's, even though we're called Cartoon Network, let's try a live action movie.
They were like, let's milk this sucker. I'm personally, I have a stronger, and we've talked about Korra. We haven't even finished talking about Korra for various reasons, but I have a stronger connection to the original Ben 10 series and what they accomplished and how good the original series is versus, because they're both Korra's 4 seasons.
Korra's 4 seasons. Ben 10, I think, is 3.
Ben 10 is 3, but to me, those 3 seasons are better than overall. If you're looking at the finished product, they are better than the overall finished product of Korra.
Yeah,
because we haven't talked about this yet, but I don't like the ending of Korra.
Yeah,
so
that's fair. If we're doing just Ben 10, I have to agree with you and give it to Ben 10. There are certain parts of that series.
Ghost Freak.
Ghost Freak is such an amazing character.
Bill Gax was Thanos before Thanos was on the screen.
Yeah, when you find out that plumbers aren't actually plumbers.
Yeah, the plumbers.
Like
there's
so much. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even though they ultimately ruined the potential of Ben 10, that original series again is solid. The movie is solid. The final season is pretty solid. Like,
because in the final season you find, like, and they pull off of this into Ultimate Alien, but you find out that, like, Ben has become a superhero. Like, I think Gwen gets knocked into the future, or maybe Ben does. But you find out that, like...
you're talking about when they go to Ben... No. So that's not in the final season. That's in the season before the final. Ben 10,000?
Yeah, Ben 10,000. That's not in the final season? That's in season 2?
The last season has a season called Ken 10. And that's in the last season. About Ben's son.
Right. That's what I'm thinking about, if I'm not mistaken. Oh.
Those are two episodes.
Okay. But either way, the fact that they even got to that part point in that 3-episode 3-season series alone is huge.
Oh. Commercial break. I need to go verify something.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll take a break.
My man. Yeah, can't. No. I'll be right back. You keep talking about your comparison.
Okay.
Because the fact that Ken.
Okay. If you guys can't tell, Shelby is a huge fan of Ben 10. We also know this is a bit longer, guys. We appreciate you for sticking by and listening to us during this episode. We really hope that you guys also are really engaging with this one, because we really want to see what your perspectives are on this versus battle. But yeah, just kind of going back, if you do decide to incorporate all of Ben 10 into the series, however, I would say that the sequel series to Ben 10 kind of ruined Ben 10, the original Ben 10's legacy, in my opinion. And maybe it's just because I grew up and I just kind of became a little... I outgrew what Cartoon Network was aiming for as they started just milking that series. Rumble, 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 rada, rada, rada. Shelby's making a bunch of noise.
Yeah, couldn't do disrespect to this. Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, all that noise you saw, all that noise you heard, folks. It was 4 seasons?
It was 4 seasons of Ben 10.
Okay.
The movie happens in last season. So yeah. Okay. Season 3 is Ben 10,000, but season 4 has Ken 10.
Okay. All right. So I was right in thinking it was in season 3. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, Shell, I did have to say that, like, the sequel series to Ben 10 kind of ruined a lot of what the original series set up. Especially when they kind of
people would disagree with you.
Really?
Well, I understand, but people like that series now. It is looked back upon favorably.
Really?
I don't know if so the sequel series there's so many. There's so many.
I mean, shoot.
But the one where he's a
teenager with Kevin, I do remember that one was decent. I just
people like that one.
I do remember watching it and enjoying it. I do think I didn't like how his aliens changed. I think that bothered me a little bit.
I didn't like that either.
That
Yeah,
I
I
think
didn't
that's really what bothered me more than anything else. But overall, and guys, we've done series on Korra. We love Korra, but
I just think pound for pound season, because there's 4 seasons of Ben 10, there's 4 seasons of Korra. I just think ultimately
Ben
Ben
10,
10
yeah.
again, like I was saying about, has a overall better
yeah,
season per season,
yeah,
So
yeah. So Ben 10 wins
they're
that
both
one.
great.
Ben 10 wins that one. We are
Hold on,
almost.
wait. Let's go. Let's go to the polls. Let's
Okay.
make sure. So there was no vote for Ben from one of the candidates, and then the Jack voted Ben 10.
All right, so Ben 10 wins. Then up next, I think this one's pretty easy compared to the last one. This one's pretty easy. We've got Johnny Bravo versus Rocket Power. Actually, the next couple are pretty easy. Yeah, it's Johnny Bravo. It's Johnny Bravo.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
You don't think it's Rocket Power?
So I remember laughing. So Rocket Power was cool and it was something enjoyable to watch, but I just remember laughing so much harder at Johnny Bravo, man.
Well, yeah, because Johnny Bravo was purely comedy, but Rocket Power, I think I'm voting Rocket Power.
Really? Okay, I guess I was wrong. I genuinely
No, you're not wrong.
Well, not wrong, but I guess we have different opinions. I do remember the Rocket Power movie when they went to New Zealand being really cool to watch.
I don't even remember them having a movie. I just remember it
was a straight
Rocket
TV
Power
movie.
Rocket Power was just cool to me because it was about kind of like extreme sports.
Yeah,
it was extreme sports.
Yeah, they were rollerbladers on a mission.
Action, some fun condition. Rocket Power. I'm going Rocket Power.
That's fair. I can't fault you for that. I just like Johnny Bravo more because Johnny Bravo made me laugh a lot more. It genuinely cracked me up.
More than 10.
Yo, when Way Big showed up, like when Way Big,
that's later on.
I know, but still, I'm not just big. I'm way big.
I'm gonna look at these later.
If you guys can't tell, we probably need to do some Ben 10 coverage.
I messed with Ben.
Ben 10 was great.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy. I mean, Johnny Bravo was just, again, it depends. See, it depends on the type of funny that you like, right?
Yeah.
I don't just like stupid funny, which is what Johnny Bravo. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoy Johnny Bravo. I do think it was funny because he was a grown man that still lived with his mother. But my mistake. I started to mess something up. He was a grown man that lived with his mother that was like a giant man child, which was funny. But I thought Rocket Power was a really cool show.
And I agree that Rocket Power was a really cool show. I guess do I change my opinion? Because when I think about
if you like Johnny Bravo,
but no, when I think about it, like I even had the Rocket Power video game, like when I was a kid. Like
I think Rocket Power maybe was outshined by the other shows of its time,
and that might be what's making me pick Johnny Bravo over it. Now that I think about it, now that I think about it, I'm gonna switch up. I have to go with Rocket Power.
Okay. The Chosen One also voted Rocket Power, and we got 4 votes for Rocket Power.
Okay, so Rocket Power wins that one.
My boy Tito, what up, brother?
Tito was great.
That's all I remember about him. But
he was a really great surfer. I remember that for sure. And I also remember that their dad was just as awesome at everything that they used to do. Rocket Power wins. Up next, in what I actually will argue might be, outside of Teen Titans Go, the funniest show Cartoon Network's ever created. The Amazing World of Gumball versus Doug. I have to go with Gumball. Gumball.
Oh, I'll go with Gumball too.
Gumball is so funny. Like, there's one episode where they are like kind of going about like the different jobs that you would do if you don't have a high school diploma, and like the importance of staying in school or whatever. And like they do everything from cleaning up bathrooms at a gas station to manning Black Friday at a Best Buy to oh god, there's a couple others, but like they're so genuinely funny that I remember it just came on one day that I was watching Cartoon Network. It just popped up. I hadn't seen the episode before, and I cried. Like 10 minutes into Gumball I was crying from laughter. Not to mention
Gumball
like
pretty funny.
Not to mention the action's great too, because his mom always like ends up being like a martial artist and fighting against other moms. Like everything about Gumball's awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, Doug was more so like a slice of life type of thing. Like
that wasn't even all that funny to me. Like I really didn't like Doug.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Doug was a cool show, and I remember they had, Doug had the movie like that. It was big. It was just like I said, he was a regular guy that wanted to date a girl, and he was just going through like high school. So
yeah,
it was a big deal. But I'm gonna go with Gumball on this one. I've laughed more at Gumball.
Yeah. We got 4 left, folks, and then we'll wrap this up. Up next, it is Chowder versus As Told by Ginger. Shelby, what's your pick on this one?
Every bone in my body is telling me I should pick As Told by Ginger.
But you can't. Like, there's part of me that just can't get over Rada, Rada, Rada. Rada, Rada, Rada. Rada, Rada, Rada. Rada! Like, I can't...
What was my man's name?
Hold on, I'll find it. Hold on, I'll find it. Give me 1 second. One second, yo.
What's funny? I don't even like Chowder as a character.
Chowder as a character is awful, but
the cast around him was so funny.
Oh god, hold on. No, that's not it. Give me 1 second. I'll find it.
I'm mad we that much in sync. Yeah, As Told by Ginger, I think was a really good show. Again, similar to Doug, to me, it was kind of like a slice of life type deal. Someone going through high school or going from middle school to high school, that type of thing, and just transitioning as a cartoon character. Mm-hmm. And I understand how a lot of people could relate to As Told by Ginger, but I had some good laughs at Chowder, and I was a Flapjack guy. I like Flapjack more than I like Chowder.
we both agreed. Like I remember we had that debate between Flapjack and Chowder. I didn't like Flapjack that much personally, but Chowder just made me laugh so hard, and it was right after Cartoon Network had kind of stopped doing a lot of their like original shows. They had cut down significantly, and it seemed like they were only doing like 4 or 5. But like hold on, is this Schnitzel? That was the name of Schnitzel.
The Monk Doll was funny too. He was super funny. The elephant.
Yep.
Again, I wasn't even into Chowder like that, but Chowder made me laugh, and I don't think I was at a point where I could really appreciate As Told by Ginger, so I just don't have.
Yeah.
I remember watching it, and I remember it being cool. She had like those powdery lips, but or those puffy lips. But other than that, I didn't.
I have to go with Chowder.
He said, "Rada,
rada." Okay, so up next is Total Drama Island versus My Life as a Teenage Robot. Now, again, Total Drama Island was very funny, but I think this is a little past my time, if I'm being honest. Because I think it was around the time where I was kind of out of cartoons, because I didn't follow it religiously, and I did follow Life as a Teenage Robot pretty heavily. I have to give it with Life as a Teenage Robot.
I'm going with Total Drama.
Okay, that's fair. No, Total Drama was funny.
I didn't watch all of Total Drama Island, but the parts in which I did see were just hilarious to me. And I don't remember liking My Life as a Teenage Robot that much. Like, it has some interesting concepts.
I think I like the plot. I think I like the plot.
It's also a show that had an interesting history with Nickelodeon.
That doesn't shock me.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Total Drama Island.
Okay.
for this one, we have no vote. Excuse me. And then we have a vote for Life as a Teenage Robot. So Life as a Teenage Robot wins.
Technically, Life as a Teenage Robot wins. All right, so this one up next. We got 2 left. I'm gonna make a controversial statement. I hate one of these shows. I despise one of these shows. I never thought it was funny. Yes.
Camp Lazlo.
It's Camp Lazlo versus Our Real Monsters. Our Real Monsters is an older show that I really don't remember all that well. I know it was probably funny. I do kind of remember laughing at some of it. I just remember hating Camp Lazlo with a passion. I don't know if it's because they canceled the show that follows this for Cartoon Network because of it or what, but I just remember I hated the show.
I thought Camp Lazlo was really funny.
Okay.
And did you ever so you never saw the ending to it?
No, I didn't know there was an ending. It didn't seem like there was an ending.
Camp Lazlo is the sequel to Rocko's Modern Life.
What?
Yeah.
You're joking.
No, made by the same people, and Heifer is in Camp Lazlo. So
okay.
Spoiler alert. I don't think too many people care about. So it turns out that the end of Camp Lazlo is kind of weird. You know how the Moose was the camp counselor?
Yeah.
It turns out he was just a guy that broke out of an insane asylum and like kidnapped the actual camp counselor. And in the last day of summer, something happens. No, Heifer like breaks out of where he was being held, and it is revealed that Heifer was the actual like camp counselor, and the other guy they take him to jail. It's like in the last episode, but he's clearly Heifer from from Rocko's Modern Life.
That changes a lot.
That makes it a little interesting.
That makes it a little more interesting.
Outside of that, I found what's the other show?
Our Real Monsters.
So I remember watching Our Real Monsters. I thought it was good, and I think it was made by the creators of Rugrats. I don't know. It wasn't super funny to me. It's just like such a historic show though. Like it's a show that everybody grew up with. But I'm gonna go with Camp Lazlo on this one.
That's fair. Maybe I just didn't like the animation style, and that might also be a reason why I didn't like Rocko's Modern Life that much. I hated Lazlo. I never laughed when I watched it.
Oh yeah, man. My man Raj, the elephant. I don't know. Like it wasn't something I watched seriously, but when I did watch it, I would normally get like a chuckle or two.
Okay.
So this one, the chosen one. Hello.
I'm here. You
and
so which one did Michael pick again?
He voted for Camp Lazlo.
Okay.
And to Jack, I'm sorry, I combined the T. He voted for Our Real Monster, so it's a tie.
It's a tie. Okay. All right. Last one. I have tied, but I will make a pick, and it's not going to be something people agree with me on. I
already know what you're picking.
Oh yeah,
I already know what you're picking.
The last one is.
Hold on, wait. You already know what I'm picking.
Okay. Fair enough. We might be the same. We might be in the same boat here. Codename Kid Next Door versus SpongeBob. Now, I'm gonna come out and say it. Codename Kids Next Door is a top 3 Cartoon Network show for me. It is immediately behind Teen Titans and Samurai Jack. I have to go with Codename Kids Next Door. Don't get me wrong, SpongeBob is a classic. It is easily Nickelodeon's most powerful show. It has been on for 20 years. It has not stopped. It is the creator of the best memes on the internet right now, because our generation grew up with SpongeBob. Between
Mr. Krabs.
Between the Mr. Krabs meme, the SpongeBob chicken meme, I'm a head out meme.
The sitting at the coffee table.
Yeah,
meme?
the sitting at the coffee table meme. SpongeBob's memes are
Are
incredible.
great. The caveman.
The Sponge Gar. Like, there's so many great SpongeBob memes, and just based off of that alone, and the fact that the SpongeBob movie was solid, and so many great jokes over the
Oh, the
years.
pulling down the pants, man.
Yeah, yep, that one too. SpongeBob is a great show, and it deserves all of its flowers. And if it went up against almost anyone else on Cartoon Network's roster, except for maybe Samurai Jack, Teen Titans, or Dexter's Lab, I would probably pick SpongeBob over most of Cartoon Network. But I have to go with the show that I watched religiously every Friday night when I was a kid. Codename Kids Next Door was amazing.
I think this is really a battle of quality versus quantity. I think Codename Kids Next Door had a better quality overall than SpongeBob has ever had. Now, SpongeBob is definitely funnier.
Yeah, definitely funnier.
But again, it goes back to that type of stupid funny versus that more joke punchline funny, right?
Yeah.
Codename Kids Next Door, like,
it had a plot.
brawls and it had a plot. And but it was also funny, like from setting up joke wise. And I think SpongeBob just has a huge impact because again, everybody watched it and it's stupid. Like there's no real plot. SpongeBob isn't really trying to accomplish any major goals in his life other than be a fry show.
It's a slice of life show, which is fine.
Yeah, but I think you could easily. I think it's easy to say Kids Next Door was the better show. Just SpongeBob had a longer lifespan.
Not to mention, did you see this? Did you see the ending for Kids Next Door? Like, did you see the final episode?
I thought the final episode was the movie.
No. The tables have turned. So the movie, when you find out that number one's dad was the original number 0, happened right before the final season. The final season takes part. You find out that that one of my favorite characters ever, number 285, who was like the best, one of the best members ever of Codename Kids Next Door. You thought he betrayed everyone because they were trying to declassify him once he became a teenager. It turns out he wasn't. It turns out he was actually still he was a double agent working for the KND as a teen, but he did hate number 1 and he wanted to beat number 1 because number 1 was picked to be a member of the Galactic Kids Next Door, which never got a sequel, which was supposed to be a sequel series that was never produced. And I'm sad about that.
It didn't need it.
But it didn't
no.
It didn't need it. The concept would have been interesting though. So basically kids from across the galaxy, but
I understand, but as someone that got sequel series to a cash cow, trust me, you didn't need it.
Fair enough. But the reason why I have to give it to KND is just because KND had like the 2x4 technology was always awesome. The plot was
Hold on, wait. They had a giant tree house in the middle of the city, and nobody
no one questioned it at all.
They had a ship in the tree house.
Yo, oh my god!
Not the 2x4 technology. I forgot about that. I hadn't heard that either. Go on, please go on.
The 2x4 technology was great. They did parody episodes of almost every major movie franchise. They did Lord of the Rings parodies. They did Godfather parodies. They did Harry Potter parodies. They did so many different parodies that worked so well for the series. But then also, just as a concept, you had all these different things that were like kind of adult themes. They just kidified them. Like, for example, root beer became like the concept of not making alcohol illegal, that became something that they did with the root beer. The concept of like addiction started becoming a thing of talking about candy. Like Codename Kids Next Door, I genuinely think
the battle ready armor.
Bras.
They had bras, battle ready armor.
And then shoot, even that alone, you had really interesting character dynamics because number 5's sister was one of the best K&D members ever, and she ends up betraying everyone once she becomes a teen. Like that, like there's so many good things about Codename Kids Next Door, and I don't think it gets the flowers it deserves.
I wonder if you can buy that. Can you buy K&D anywhere?
Let me
It's worth
see.
looking into.
Yeah, let me
Worth
see.
looking into.
But yeah, I gotta go with K&D.
You see, I got my Ben 10 right here. I ain't playing no games. Up, Chuck. Anyways, yeah, we'll have to talk about Ben 10 one day. But yeah, we made it, man.
We made it through. We're sitting at about an hour and 34.
Perfect.
We appreciate you guys for watching, for listening to us, because we know this is a little bit longer. We will post the image of this battle on our Instagram page and on our Facebook page, so people can contribute. We really want to see what people pick here. Shout out again to Devante for designing this.
Yeah, for sure.
This was great. Like you're awesome, man. Thank you again. And yeah, guys, post in the comments of this on either Facebook or in our Twitch page or in our Instagram page, wherever
service. Whatever you're listening to us on, feel free to comment there as well.
Yeah,
but leave your favorite. Leave your favorite cartoons, any memories you may have had, or anything we may have made you remember.
And tell us who you think won the battle. Tell you who you think won the verses. Because right now, if I'm
mathematically
for us,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cartoon Network won by 4.
Okay, so for us, Cartoon Network won. I'm not really surprised by that because Shelby and I are more Cartoon Network kids. But yeah, this was a fun one, guys.
Again, we did get some outside opinions as well.
Yeah, true.
2 people responded, and they were able to be tiebreakers or create ties. But yeah, man, this was fun.
This was great. This is a great episode. But thanks again, guys. Tune into Twitch to watch us. If you want to see us game a little bit, we're on there pretty frequently, especially Shelby. And then also follow us on social media. We've got basically everything at this point. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. That's going to do it for us. I'm CJ.
Yep. I'm Shelby. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And this is Fans Perspective, signing out.
We'll catch you next time.